I got a single by this new chick named Aretha Franklin.
You play Aretha's producer, Jerry Wexler, and she had made albums before she came to you, but it was really you who allowed her to start showcasing her own voice, her own creativity. Talk to me a little bit about their relationship.
I think that Jerry, at the core of his being, loved music, and he loved this kind of music, and he loved what became R&B. He actually came up with the term R&B. He was sort of personally responsible for taking it out of the world of race records and making it mainstream, through artists like Aretha, Wilson Pickett. And so I think he knew of Aretha for years, and he knew that she was at Columbia kind of floundering, and he knew there was something in her. He didn't know what it was, but he knew that it wasn't coming out. So when he had the opportunity to sort of take her on as and sign her to his label and to produce her, he had a very clear vision of how he could facilitate, her finding her voice. And even though they kind of pushed back a little bit at the beginning, it ultimately was the right journey for her. And I think that the relationship between them was deep, and it was loving, and it was respectful, and sometimes contentious, but it was always about getting the best out of her that she was capable of doing without her hurting herself.
I agree. I mean, I feel like there were so many men within her life, and everyone that had areas that they wanted her to go, agendas that they wanted her to fulfill. But it did seem like her relationship with Jerry was one that really was more centered about the music, and even down to, the freedom that came later in her career when she decided she unwaveringly wanted to make that gospel album. And he was like, okay, let's do a documentary with it too. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that aspect of it, about the trust that was built between the two of them that rode through.
I think that, it's a delicate relationship that a producer has, with talent. You have to be somewhat, diplomatic, and you have to, figure out how that works. And I think over the years, they obviously, more was revealed. And I think Jerry probably had a pretty good sense of, what Aretha came from, of the trauma that she carried in her life, in her heart. And, certainly he was there. He was present and witnessing that abusive relationship he was in, that she was in, and he was sort of powerless over that. So I think that, that they really knew each other, and it was a safer relationship for her. So, and I think that even though he was a little wary of her decision to do a gospel record, he understood it. And he, whether he doubted it or not, he knew from the urgency that she was in trouble and she needed to do it. And it turns out to be the biggest gospel album that ever was made. It's kind of fascinating.
Absolutely. And I feel like the story can resonate with so many on so many different levels, from the point of, using your voice for more than just whatever that gifting is, or, the race relations to faith and so forth. For you, what do you hope audiences will take away from Aretha's story?
Well, I think there's something about creativity. There's something about, finding your voice in whatever it is, despite whatever, horrendous darkness you come from, and using it and finding your will within that, and finding your courage within that to do the right thing for yourself and, for others if you have the power. So I think it's all in that story.